this opportunity to introduce our moderator and our panelists for this session. Our moderator, we have Ms. Dishma and Head of Customer Experience, Sugar.fit. So Ms. Dishma is Head of Customer Experience at Sugar.fit with over 10 years of experience across aviation, fitness and health tech industries. She specializes in customer experience strategy, operations excellence and digital transformation with a strong focus on enhancing customer journeys through technology-driven innovation. So let's all put our hands together and welcome Dishma with a round of applause. I would like to also introduce our panelists. We have Mr. Yogesh Bhala, Chief Technology Officer, DSP Mutual Fund, Mr. Virajnath Bhatkar, Deputy Vice President, Digital Products, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Apur Trivedi, VP and Group Delivery Head, High Tech Tech Mahindra, Mayank Pathak, Director, Scale Operations, Urban Piper, Mr. Pranav Kumar, Global Head, Digital Data and AI, Senior Director, Client Partner, Chief Architect, Capgemini, and last but definitely not the least, Dr. Karthik Anantaraman, Vice President, International Business, Apollo Hospitals. So let's all put our hands together and welcome our moderator and a set of panelists.
You have used AI probably today while coming. Can you raise your hands quickly? Oh, great. Now, can you keep your hands up and tell me if you have let that AI decide or take any action in your life or anything? Not many hands, right? I think that's the gap we're going to discuss today. Letting AI advise and letting AI act is something we're going to talk. So coming to the question, I think we're going to ask Pranav first. By 2035, Pranav, will AI be every customer's personal shopping, banking, healthcare and travel advisor? And how should brands prepare for AI to AI instead of human to brand?
Hello, good morning. I think 2035 is too far. The era has already begun. I'm sure all of you have heard about the notebook thing which happened a couple of months back, right? Where somebody created it started with actually the Cloudbot, where the Cloudbot was created, it was built to primarily search within your phone and give some kind of output around that. But then what Cloudbot did, it went ahead, it created its own voice application to interact with the owner of the phone and cross the boundaries. So it started with that kind of a thing, and then there are Google Next in April, and there we saw about the agentic commerce. Now in agentic commerce, what happens? Brands have been trying to do a lot of research for the last 20 years, understanding the customer behavior, what kind of clicks, views, actions are happening, how do we collect the data, how do we be better informed about the customer. But then the world has changed quite a bit. And it's no longer just about the search engine optimization which used to give the right results. Now the brands are also having the GEO part of the story where the generative engine optimization comes in. Now imagine there is one side where there are multiple brands which are fighting it out to give the right results to the end users. And at the other side, there are agents which are part of the agentic commerce system which would be deciding on behalf of the customers what pricing would be good, what location would be good, how can I give the best price to this particular customer based on the previous trend, what has been there. So there's AI which is interacting with AI already. It's in action. So it's not a matter of 2035 and we are living in that era now. In 2024 we had the Air Canada experience which was there where chatbot was created, somebody was searching for a low fare ticket for a bereavement event which has happened at their end. And the bot gave a offer which was a bereavement offer, but then that offer was actually not there. So somebody went and that person actually traveled for that bereavement thing and then tried to claim that, but the brand said no, we can't do that. We are not that, we never existed, right? If that's the case, the bot is going ahead and making the decisions on its itself based on the learnings which have happened. We are not talking about the era which is 2035. We are talking about that now. So that has already begun. The challenge now resides with how do we bring in the right governance, the right controls in place, which will ensure that the right customer experience is delivered, but in a responsible manner. How do we leverage the personalization, or let us say responsive personalization? I think it was Spider-Man's uncle, Parker, who said that with great power comes great responsibilities. The customers are trusting us with a lot of data about them. So let's use that wisely. Let's not delegate everything to the agents. Strike a balance. I think that's what is critical there.
Right. Rightly said, Pranav. Now coming to Yogesh, what do you think? Will brands of the future compete on products and services or just on intelligence of the experience they deliver? What's your take on that?
Good morning all. My name is Yogesh and I am experimenting a lot of things in the fintech world at DSP Mutual Fund. So very good question. Thanks for asking, Rishma. I think product and services will never go. Of course, service excellence is taking precedence. The quality of the product will always stand for. But the kind of services which we expect, those expectations of customers will always be there. And we have seen those brands which are succeeding already, with AI, without AI. Those who are keeping customers first are always, and the kind of bar is being set by the companies like Amazon and all, is really very, very high. Before AI also, AI also. Now AI can assist, and today also we have not reached the stage of emotional quotient being added fully to the AI bots as of now. Still, end customer can figure out whether this is a bot speaking or a human speaking. But that era is also not very far. But according to me, the product, the services, the customer experiences will always be there and always be number one priorities of the brand which want to succeed. There is no second thought about it.
Well said, Yogesh. I think coming to Karthik, can customer truly trust AI to make recommendations or final decisions or healthcare suggestions on their behalf? And how do you think the organization should build that trust for the customers?
That's very relevant, and I like to take the cue from what Yogesh just mentioned, because that was very relevant to our line of work as well. But good morning, everyone. Thanks for asking that. I handle a business where we are actually talking about patients with very serious medical conditions. They live in different other countries. Typically, we cater to, on an annual basis, at least patients from about 65 countries come to India seeking advanced medical treatments. Most of these countries are actually other emerging economies as well, right? And we're talking about countries in Africa, countries in Central Asia, parts of the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and few parts of the Caribbean and Latin America. This is what we're talking about. So the complexity that we live in today is complexity around being linguistically relevant. So to ensure that we serve the customer in the language of their origin. Two, I go back to the point what Yogesh mentioned. Healthcare industry works on empathy. So how can we have an agent or an AI that we think about to demonstrate empathy? I think we've taken baby steps. We are not yet there, but we are getting there. So what we have tried to do is to build an option that while the consumer or the patient would know that okay, it's a bot or it's an agent that is responding to them and is responding to them on time, we also give that option of a human element. And would you like to talk to a consumer interface or a customer service interface? We keep that option open. We have not eliminated that human interface yet. But what has truly helped build the trust, to coming straight to the question that you asked me, are a couple of things. One, we have to be relevant and we have to be contextual to the query that the consumer has. In our case, it's a patient. And since we are talking about a patient with a disease, ability to give very, specific information that they are seeking. And the more contextual, the more customized the responses, it helps build trust. So customers do test the algorithm multiple times before they kind of make that final decision. I'm sure it's the same with SugarFit or HealthFit or any other tech platform. But we have consciously made sure that we have a response time. The bot or the engine is actually trained with common questions that consumers ask by disease type. 40% of our traffic is oncology. Patients ask questions around their cancer or their cancer type. So another 20% is cardiology, and then comes orthopedics and a couple of other specialties. So we've trained the bots on at least about 1,000 to 1,500 scenarios that are commonly asked by patients. And hence you get a very targeted, relevant answer. And the first, second, third, fourth, fifth relevant answer is what builds trust with them, but without eliminating the human interface that I mentioned. These are, I would say, early days, but we have tried to take that conscious decision to build that trust. What is the outcome of all this? So naturally, since we are talking of the world, people are calling or rather inquiring from different time zones. They are getting instant responses in their time zone, in their language. I think that is what is really helping them, and that's what the agent is helping us do. And eventually our dropout rates, as we typically call, has kind of fallen almost by 30 to 40%. That's what we've been monitoring.
Right. I think AI does the pattern finding and human takes the call. Right. I think Apur, what's your take on this?
See, I think what Dr. just covered, I got the same. In fact, what Pranav also said. I belong to high-tech industry, right? So we are working with the hyperscalers where AI is, yes, used, we are using it. But at the same time, it's the data which matters the most. AI is nothing but, right now, the way we are looking at it is, it's going SLMs are being written, they fetch the data. So at the training what is happening, you would have seen a lot of people, house helps, local vendors, capturing the data for all of us. So it's basically the reliability of the data. Reliability of data comes from where? From the people like us who are inputting that data. AI is right now a set of tools which are giving us the data back. So again saying that from a perspective of a consumer, it's AI plus human in the loop. That is going to build the trust, not AI.
So Pranav, again to you, is hyper-personalization reaching to a point where it feels invasive rather than valuable? Because 75% of the people feel personalization is creepy because they feel that somebody is surviving every time, that somebody is looking into them every time. So where should organization draw a line?
Very pertinent question. Specifically, I think some of us would have. I like to give examples because it helps me relate more to the people there, right? One of the incidents which happened was the Target incident where the promotional offer was sent out to a household where they had a daughter, and it was about some baby care products. And it was a change in the behavior on the purchase patterns which the daughter had shown, and incidentally what happened, the offer happened to reach his father. Now, that was a boundary which was crossed, right? The data which was being collected by the recommendation systems, it was not that the recommendation systems were not doing the job properly, they were trying to do the personalization. But then the point of definition is, how do you define what data, what purpose? So there has to be some kind of a layered evaluation framework which needs to be there. Where right from the point where the data is being collected, while it is being fed into the model, how it is being trained, and what purpose it will be leveraged. I think that has to be fine-tuned and addressed very appropriately, which is not happening at this point of time. A lot of times what happens is people tend to leverage some kind of proxy data. So some kind of browsing patterns are being used as a proxy for the kind of items which we are interested in or the purchasing behavior. Now, as long as we are dependent on those proxy data, I think the whole model, the evaluation would not be appropriate. So how do we drive in a framework which brings in some of these into the wraps would be critical to define those boundaries and drive the responsible AI, responsible personalization for the audience.
So Viraj, this is pretty much common in banking sector, right? So how do you guys draw a line in your sector?
For us, what we do is, so let me be just giving you a perspective here. Okay, personalization to a limit can be a problem for the customer. So when I mean limit means it's like you're putting a surveillance on the customer. Okay, we want Netflix like personalization, something like the next show which is going to be coming into the, which is relevant to what we are watching. Maybe personalization on Spotify, okay? Maybe for sugar, it may be something related to fitness, something like that. But what is happening is that we are using some other information. Example could be in banking, customer is searching for maybe home loan, and we may just show him some communication with regards to any other loan because he doesn't have a pre-approved offer. That is something of a disconnect. So context is very important. So if tomorrow customer is searching for home loan, and if we don't have a pre-approved offer for him, we don't show him any personalized communication related to any other product. That is the biggest difference. The next piece would be something like, if I call it business value against customer value. Business value, organizations are looking at it from the business point of view. Okay. Something like, if I'm thinking, what is the CTR, what is the conversion, I will communicate to the customer basis these parameters. But customer is not, customer is saying he wants to know whether he's having the solution to his problem, whether his time is saved by whatever we are talking about. That makes a huge difference. So personalization, if done right, can be a very good opportunity. But if we are doing it wrong, maybe sometimes with the help of AI, which is a powerful tool, can sometimes go south also. So AI also needs some human intervention, as was already communicated by the other speaker. And last but not the least, let's not be intrusive towards the customer. We should not track his movements. Like in banks, we have all kinds of information. Where you have done your credit card swipe last, or maybe where you have, which place you did your dining plan. We have that information. But we have to use it very carefully. Just so that customer is not getting that feeling of his privacy getting hampered. It has to be very carefully used.
I think coming to the fitness industry also is pretty much the same thing. So in case they miss walking the task today, so we don't tell them you've missed the walk. So we nudge them saying that you've not completed the task. So it's a nice way to tell them. So that's something we do. I think you agree with me. I think you have the same plan, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So gut check for the room, Mayank, probably Karthik also can answer this. Should a brand always tell you when you're talking to an AI? Or what role will transparency play in ensuring customer understand when they are interacting with AI versus humans?
Yeah, I think when we talk about transparency, if not already, I'm sure in the coming time we'll be using this as a key metric compared to a resolution time or quality score. Like I'm sure we'll be calculating how transparent or what is the transparency score. Because I'm sure like in this room, whoever has used bot or interacted with a conversational bot, we all had a moment where we felt that hey, it's exactly a human. I'm interacting with a human. But I think we are missing one point. If we are not transparent enough to the end customer, maybe you are losing trust. Like maybe. And hence transparency is the key. I'm sure like when we talk to bots, we all have given them a pseudo names. Like Make My Trip has given Myra. There are like other like even I don't know, but ICTC also have a bot name. So if we have given them a name, there's no harm in bringing them like upfront to your end customers and like be very open about that. Hey, you are interacting with the bot. That also like opens doors for the customers because they are also educated enough to understand the limitation of a bot, and hence they know at what point they should seek help from a human. Along with this, like as I said, transfer is also important. So our transfer process, the mode through which they can reach to a human help should also be very open, very free to use. Coming back to your point, transparency is the key. Like there's no harm in like bringing upfront that hey, you're interacting with a bot. I'm a bot, happy to help you.
I think Karthik sir, you should speak about this because in healthcare transparency is super important.
Yes, I don't know what to say. So we start with the baseline, possibly not so much on the tech side, but on the services side of hospital service delivery. The baseline is many times when you go to a hospital, first they will ask you, do you have insurance or don't you have insurance? Now, the approach that people think or perceive that if you were to reveal that you had insurance, they might want to just top up a lot of investigations, tests, etc. that you may not necessarily have, required. that's where there is either you have a chance to build trust or there is lack of trust. So therefore what we have tried to do is both from the agent side and of course from the human side. The human side here could be a CRM executive going straight up to the treating doctor, the treating clinician. I think what's important to consistently do is to tell them what not to do. Right? What to do, I think everyone knows, most of them knows rather, subject matter experts know, but what not to do is what few people communicate. We have been trying to do that. I would not say we are 100% perfect, but the bot certainly is 100% perfect in the way how it communicates that for your condition, these are the recommended next steps. We also ensure that the bot or the agentic AI, if you want to call it that way, is trained to ensure that it gives a mandatory choice to the patient to do a video conference consultation with the doctor, because that builds a lot of trust between the care seeker and the caregiver. And once that happens, the trust level goes up further, and in that call that happens between patient and doctor, we are ensuring the doctor to tell them what is actually not required. Because today, more often than not, patients are not seeking opinion from one doctor or one healthcare ecosystem. They are taking multiple opinions from other ecosystems. So patient also compares who is the most trustworthy. So I think the one that is very open in communicating or articulating what to do and what is not absolutely required is the one that builds trust.
Rightly said. So Yogesh, if AI makes a bad call, who do you think is the right person to be blamed? The brand, the model provider, or do we really have to try to blame the algorithm?
If AI is making a bad decision, it is always brand to business is at the front. One example was given of airline. I have a couple of examples from the insurance industry also where bot promised insurance and finally company has to give that because bot was deployed by them. So whatever AI in a company, agent speaking to customer, is that brand's agent. Customer don't know whether AI to blame. They always say that you promised me this, please fulfill this. Right or wrong, now it's brand's responsibility. It's like that. If AI was not there and customer service team was there in a company and that customer service agent promises something, will this be a problem of only customer service agent or the brand? In front of customer, it is always brand. There is no second thought about it.
So Pranav, how should organizations govern AI models to minimize the bias while still delivering deeply personalized experience?
Talking about how organizations should govern, I think first and foremost starts with how well do you understand your customers. Whatever data that you are collecting from the customers, are you taking the right consent? It starts from that very basics itself. Are you capturing the preferences? Are you understanding them at a deeper level? What channel they want to be connected upon? If you're a busy executive, do you want to be disturbed during the business hours? Or if it's a homemaker, what would be ideal time? So respect the boundaries which the customers has set, what kind of expectation or anticipation the customer has. So getting down to that, I think that empathy, the understanding is very core. So start with that. And then how you use it for purpose, that becomes important. Sometimes what happens in a, let's say, recruitment system. So it's not an end customer solution, but then in that there's a lot of bias which can creep in. So how do you take care of the biases which are there? There's an example around that as well, in which the recruitment, the ATS engine was not very friendly to certain ethnicity or certain gender. So how do you, while you develop the algos, while you develop the models, how do you bring in, a lot of times these models are built by humans. Right? So how do you ensure that while these models are being built in, there is a maker-checker kind of a thing which is there. So somebody who will build the model, there is a verification which is also done, that all the necessary biases are taken care of, the detection methods which are there, which prohibit such kind of user which is not inclusive, kind of. So at each and every stage, right from the time the model is created to the operationalization, how do you understand that boundaries, I think that becomes very critical because customer is trusting you with all data. So manage those boundaries within that. Like,
Right. I think even with SugarFit also, since we are into a digital platform, so we cannot provide services to tier 2, tier 3 areas because considering the diagnostics partner probably, others, delivery partners and all of that. So creating personalization for them is something that we work on, and not creating bias is something that we give them. Is the differentiation what we have in.
the audiences we deal with is very varied, right? Specifically when you're talking about sugar-fed kind of companies, right? You have to reach to the masses, so they might have different language preferences, different psychographic, demographic profiles, and then tailoring your message to each of them becomes a
Very
difficult
challenging.
task.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
navigating
creating
through that
personalization for them is something that we work on.
truly challenging.
So, Karthik, will ethical AI become important to customer loyalty as product quality and pricing by 2030? What's your call on that?
I think we need that today. 2030 possibly could be a really long haul. Absolutely. So we've seen that already. How do we measure it? Let me put it, maybe I'll start from that direction. One of the core KRAs that we are measured on today is not just about the number of patients we bring or the revenue that we deliver, but we are measured on what is called revisits. What is a revisit? I think most of us understand. Today, 70% of the diseases that patients come seeking help, like additional help or specialist help for, are what we call non-communicable diseases or chronic diseases. It starts with a simple thing like a diabetes or a high cholesterol or a high blood pressure, going straight away up to a chronic kidney disease, someone needing dialysis or someone with a cancer. So why do we call them chronic is the nature of the disease is that you can only control the disease, you can't cure it completely. So therefore when you can control it, it means that someone needs to be on a certain medication and monitor it constantly from time to time. So these patients are always advised that you need to come back and see your consulting doctor every 3 months, every 6 months to monitor how your condition has been. It's good to know that you are under control rather than not paying heed to the advice and you going out of control and the disease coming back with a remission, which could be a more serious one. So therefore, the hospital KRAs or KPIs is measured on what is called as revisit rate. A good revisit rate should at least be in the zone of around 35 to 40% as an industry benchmark. So how do you achieve that KPI is basis this loyalty factor. And the loyalty factor goes back to the previous question that I was asked around the trust part. So the more we consistently do what is absolutely required and completely eliminate what is not required, patients see that this is a trustful healthcare ecosystem to go back to. And they're not going to be fleecing me on things that are not required for me. And that is also to be measured as outcome. So one of the things we are trying to do, there are few hospitals in India today who publish outcome data, that I treated these many patients, these many got a cure or these many got a control, and they're consistently maintaining that record. Very few people have documented evidence such as this. It's important to publish or rather maintain data and publish data such as this to build that trust followed by the revisit count as well. We are trying to consciously do these things, early days I would say, but the more persistent we are in doing it, it will certainly head in that direction.
So Yogesh, should organization prioritize automation for efficiency or invest more in emotionally intelligent experience that actually strengthen long-term relationships? What do you think?
I think both goes hand in hand. Long-term relationship is super important for anything. And trust, what all we are talking about right now, AI agents, whether they can build that kind of trust, brands survive on trust. I work for a company which is a 150 years old company. Running this much long distance for a brand like TSP is not easy without the long-term vision, the trust and anything. So here in this forum itself we are talking about two main important things to all of us. One is health, second is wealth, which is money. And in all banking, wealth management, mostly from the health professionals and other departments as well, the consumer side, hyper-personalization. So our all life revolves around trust. So that emotional quotient is very important. Agents need to be evolved towards that side of things. Automation is also needed to scale up the things. But more and more these bots taking up now the automation tasks also. So there is an element of, as of today, we still can figure out these are bots. Most of us do not prefer, given a choice. We have spoken about transparency also. As soon as somebody picks the call and says, this is bot speaking, do you want to talk to me or to human? Our choice will be always human. Because of this emotional quotient. Because we believe strongly till today that bots cannot answer all our questions. They cannot understand the context in which we are talking. At the same time, trust is still not there on AI agents. We are the generations who have most of the time declined all cookies. Can I ask all of you, when the choice comes, accept all cookies, how many of us say yes? We don't say. But at the same time, we allow all these agents to sit on our phone, take our personal information, send it to somewhere we don't know even. Right? So I think if brand needs to be succeeded, that trust with us, as a consumer, need to be built. Come what may, whichever sector we are working, these agents need to work the way humans are working, exposing only what is needed. And I think emotional quotient definitely really consumer side of things, customer care side of things.
So Viraj, is the future of customer experience more about personalization or deeper trust?
Both are not independent, both are interdependent actually. So if you ask me, trust is what is going to make our personalization even better. I call it circle of personalization, circle of trust. So an example would be that if I make my customer understand that he can trust me, it will give me more information about him, which will make me more relevant for him when it comes to personalization. Better personalization, again more data, it's a circle. Okay, so it's circle of personalization and trust which will get formed. Okay, so that is how personalization and trust are interlinked. If I speak about the terminology which I have personally put to rest over here is, we have to move from CX to CC. CX means customer experience to customer confidence. That's the future. And to do this, we'll have to understand customer, make sure that he trusts me. The things what are happening at least in top 20 cities or top 10 cities in India specifically is that we are all concerned about our data. Is there anybody in the room who is not concerned about his data, his or her data? Everybody is, right? So data becomes very important here. And that is how the trust is going to get built. I'll just close it with the simple statement is, personalization will attract the customers, but trust will keep them with us.
I think one last question to all of them before we end the session. On the interest of time, by 2035, do people remember the product they bought from you or the way your AI has made them feel? And which one should we be building for? I think each one of you can tell me the answer in just one line probably.
You want me to go
Yeah,
first?
you can start first.
I think what comes to my mind the moment you were just talking about it, I think people will remember experiences more than brands. So I think experience is what they will remember. That's my one-liner on that.
Products are primarily for experiences, and experiences are meant for people. So we need to focus on the people always. Everything's a thing.
Experience and the trust that you have built.
And rather put it into two things. There are two consumers of our AI today. One is the techie who is writing those agents for you. If we have to look at from that perspective also, then the techie who is writing is also consuming AI and writing it for you. So for him or her, the trust, the experience, both matters, and then only the end user, the CX will come into picture, because based on the trust on this human, and this human's trust on the AI or the data is going to give an end user. So yes, it goes hand in hand.
I would say that one situation for the customer, any individual customer, when you actually solution him and he's really happy about it, he'll become your advocate. So that one situation.
agree completely. It's the experience generally which we all remember. I sometimes do not remember the name of the person sometimes when I met, but I always remember, we all, I think, the way that person presented himself or something. So all these things are like very human.
Yeah, I think even in Sugarfield also, we just want them to remember the experience they had, how healthy they were in that 1 year, and not the AI which is made them feel that way. Yeah, so I think that's one of the things we are also working on. So yeah, experience matters the most. Yeah, and since the time is up, I think over and above the learning was automated transaction, humanize the moment that matters and own the outcomes. So thank you so much, Sir and Pranav, Mayank, I hope and Viratsa and Yogesh for having or being on the stage and answering all the questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Quite good questions, and when you included that sugar concept into it, that was really good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dishna. Thank you so much, our distinguished panelists. Let's give them all a big round of applause. I would like to now invite Ms. Deepika Swain, AVP Jetpack, to do the honors for a moderator and